Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Chris Upton's in the house. Good evening and welcome. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Chris Upton in the house. Anybody there? Testing. Just give me the finger if you're there. Please give me the finger if you're there. If you can actually hear me, see me, not feel me. Thomas McNulty's in the house. Good evening, Chris. And Sue, hoping you're all right. They got a thumbs up so somebody can hear me. Can hear you loud and clear. Lovely. Right, okay. Denver Skinner's in the house. Graham Allison's in the house. Frank Casey's in the house. Jeff Harroway's in the house. Good evening. Malcolm Austin's in the house. Townsend's in the house. Michael McLaughlin's in the house. Christopher's in the house. Nigel Moore's in the house. Adam Hudson's in the house. And Jaybird Gundogs is in the house as well. Oh, there's the wife here. She does me because she's over there. And I read it on here. I think, where is she? She's just over there. Loud and clear. Lovely. So there you go. On time tonight. Hey, what a change, Ace. How about that? Good evening, Steve. Yet again on the cherry juice. Am I feeling better? No. Cherry juice. You can't beat cherry juice compared to red wine, can you? Anyway. Tim Weston's in the house. There you go. So, what was he talking about? I was talking about dog training. That's what we're on here for, isn't it? Dog training. It's a Tuesday night for how to find a wife, become a farmer. Oh no, it's tonight. I've just been watching some of it. They've all got Toyotas, haven't they? All the farmers in Australia have got Toyotas. Doesn't that say something to you? They've all got Toyotas. I should have kept my Toyota, shouldn't I? Did you get many videos in for the competition, says Steve Pace? No, I did not, Steve. I was really, really disappointed. I mean, honestly, I was giving it a little bit more time, hoping that people would send in videos for the competition. I think that everybody in there who's got a video should get a prize, shouldn't they? There's only about 3 of them, 4 of them. So I was waiting to see if anybody else was interested, but there will come a time where we just have to go, no, we're going to have to pick a winner. So we will pick a winner this week. You're looking thin. Stop it, Michael. Stop it. I'm losing weight like crazy, honestly. Adam put in his. I think you put in 2, Adam, didn't you? I think you really, really want a pen, don't you? And a mug. He's dying for a pen and a mug. That was the prize, a pen and a mug. And I thought, well, it's not going to be difficult to pick out a winner here, is it? With 4 of you. 4 of you put some videos in. Very, very disappointed. What was the competition, says Malcolm Austin. Too late now, nosy Malcolm. I'm sorry. You have to be on Corleone Talk, I think, isn't it? It's Corleone Talk, wasn't it? Corleone. Adam wants a mug. He needs a mug. We had a pen, a mug, and an empty crisp packet. Half a bottle of wine that I've not drunk for 3 months. Anyway, I was talking about dog training this week in the group, and I was talking about. Oh, honestly, my brain's going. No, to tell me it's going. It's already gone, Chris. I made a statement. Dog trainers should be taught how to think, not what to think. Well, when clients come to me and you see the videos and you see things I haven't pulled them for, there's no excuse. There's no excuse at all. But if I pull you for everything you do that I think is wrong, then you're going to lose faith. You're going to lose confidence. You're going to think, Jesus Christ, am I paying for this? The idea is I've got to work the person out with the dog and work on the weaknesses and build the strengths and then put the polish in. Because if you try and do it all in one go, if they're doing 20 things wrong with the dog and they keep repeating it and you keep repeating it yourself, it just gets monotonous for them as well as the dog. You've got to make the dog enjoy the game. You've got to make the dog enjoy the lesson. Yes, there's times you step up and give the discipline. But the whole point of that comment that I put up, and let's do it again, and it it could actually, excuse me, it could mean a number of things. Dog trainers should be taught how to think, not what to think. So the whole point of that was, I was thinking that when I watch a video and someone sends me a video, or I watch back on a video, you didn't hold back with me. You said I was fucking, but you know, he's held that against me for the rest of his life, that Adam Money. Eh? That was kind, Adam. That was kind. But haven't you improved? I mean, what a difference. A little bit of negative, constructive criticism. No, I don't hold back when I don't need to. I can work people out. Anyway, dog trainers should be taught how to think and not what to think. So the more these people out there on the internet are reading the garbage that is put out there on YouTube, Facebook, all these things about dog training, let's see your dogs, let's see your achievements, and let's see how you train. Stop talking about it, because that's what it comes down to. Would you say little and often, just like drip feeding? Well, it keeps them keen in the bedroom, Andy. Keeps them keen in the bedroom. Would you say a little and often, just like drip feeding? Not there was Carlos. Good evening, Tracy Dodds. I bet she came in and thought, what the hell, he's talking about sex again. Yes, sir, talk is cheap. And that's the whole point, isn't it? There's so many people on the internet out to try and make money by selling an ideology that is false and doesn't work under pressure. And it's easy to train a dog in a backfield without the pressure. When the pressure comes on, will the dog cope with the pressure? That's the whole point. And if you've never ever put a dog in under pressure, and you're giving people advice on these forums, and some of these boys go looking for it, don't they? They go looking for these forums where people say, oh, you can do it with love and affection. Everything's done with love and affection. You shouldn't have a dog if you don't love it. It's simple as that. If you don't love your dog, if you don't love working a dog or training a dog, you shouldn't have it. It's as simple as that. If you're not going to put the commitment in, you shouldn't have it. As simple as that. But the whole point of it is dog trainers should be taught how to think. If you tell somebody to do everything all the time, they're just going to become a clone of you and not think for themselves. The idea of it as a trainer is you highlight things, you persuade people. When somebody comes to me and they don't do nothing wrong and they've got a good dog, I can see they know what they're doing with the movement, their timing, their commands. The idea is, I want customers to show me their dog without me interfering too soon. If I interfere all the time, all I do is control them like a little robot. I want them to go wrong. I need them to see. I need to see where they're going wrong to know when to put them right. So when a customer is out with me training, if I'm telling them word for word to do this, do that, they just become a clone. And they don't know why they're doing it. The idea is to know when to read a dog, how to read a dog, when to react with a dog, when to calm a dog down, when to take the drive up, when to control that drive. And that's what it's about. It's a bigger picture than just dog training. Anybody, like I say, can throw dummies. Anybody can say, come training with me, I can throw dummies, or I can give you the facilities of lots of game. If you're running through the woods and your dog's not listening to you and it's pulling you all over the place, you're doing yourself far more harm going with somebody like that than going with someone who's a little bit more regimental at the right time. But another video I put up, and I was talking about it as well, is I would rather have a dog go wrong on a couple of occasions because I've not suppressed the drive and destroyed the drive. That's what I was trying to get across today, talking to a number of people. I've seen dogs lately, and the dogs are like little robots. It looks clean, but really there's no drive, there's no desire. Jim says the classics Jim says the classics you say what you're going to do now offers great learning curve. Yeah. And that's the whole point. What are you going to do now in that situation? And when somebody comes to me of a high standard, I don't really need to say too much because I can go on to advanced training with them. But I just can't go into advanced training with someone who hasn't got much understanding. or is struggling, we have to work on the basics. But if you work on the basics of suppressing the dog to the point it's got no drive from the start, then you ain't going to have a good dog. You need to keep the drive, keep the keenness, keep the fun element. The dog wants to play the game. If you've got that, you can put the brakes on the dog. It's easier to put the brakes on but not destroy the drive than destroy the drive from the start and have no drive. And that's the important thing. But how would these people know it if they've never been there? Adam says the best thing I've ever did was go pro as much as. Hang on. Adam says the best thing I ever did was to go pro as much of my training working as possible. When I watch it back, I see different things and the areas where I need to improve. Yep, I agree. And Jim agrees as well with Adam. It's valuable. When you look at your videos of yourself, when somebody videos you, the video breakdown is just as important as the lesson, because you can look back on the lesson and go, yes, I can now see what he's saying. The dog is running around with a high tail action. The dog has not got its head down. The dog is taking in too much ground. The dog is not listening. The dog is pushing boundaries. All these things can be added and you can see it all in the video. And the video's not lying. But the honesty is having the honesty to look at it and work out your weaknesses. And we've all got weaknesses. We've all had weaknesses. I've never met a perfect dog or a perfect trainer yet. Met some great dogs, met some great trainers. But the majority of people who come to me, they are making the mistakes. And that confuses the dog. It's not the dog normally. They've normally got the dog to a reasonable level further on than the pet world would. But what I do is I add that little bit of polish, or I'd show them where they're going wrong. Then we have the other end of the scale where we have people joining the group who have got no idea at all, and then looking for that puppy walking, that early stages in training, how to bring a dog onto a certain stage. You can still make mistakes no matter how far you are in your training. We all are human. We all make mistakes, Steve. I made plenty of mistakes and then watch back the video and think, no, I shouldn't have done that. I should have done that. It's knowing when you've made them and being able to read it. And that's the skill set of teaching somebody to do what I was saying. Dog trainers should be taught how to think, not what to think. It's easy brainwashing people through the media, isn't it? Talking about it, but not putting up your videos, talking the talk, but not walking the walk. The idea is you should be able to walk the walk, or you should have been able to had in the past train dogs to a very high standard and proven yourself in the field. But that doesn't mean that just because you haven't won anything in the field, you can't train a dog. There's plenty of people in the group not interested in competition. They've trained the dogs as good little shooting dogs, and you should be really proud of them. And I'm very proud of you for what you've achieved. And you've achieved it because you've stuck to it. Now, if you don't stick at it, you don't get the best out of your dog. It's as simple as that. Because dogs work on repetition, repetition, repetition. But what we don't want to do is bore them silly. And one of the things I said this week to someone, if you're having a problem in an area with your training and you're getting frustrated and the dog doesn't seem to be getting the idea, change the game. Look at other things in that training, think what you're doing, and try and improve it. So if you ask your dog to sit out in front of you, and when you recall it in, if it doesn't come in and sit at your feet when told, then why do you think it should come in with a retrieve and sit at your feet? If your dog is dropping it on the way back in, then use your place board, use your elevated position to teach the dog that I want you to sit on there and I want you to hold it and I want you to calm down. I see so many dogs, they've got a little bit too much energy and not enough control. I'd rather see energy and control than no energy and a little bit of control, because I'm looking for the pace and drive. If you've got the pace and drive, if you use discipline, you're not going to destroy the dog. If you've got no pace and drive and you try to use discipline and you've got no control as well, you're going to destroy that dog's desire to want to be with you playing that game. That is the whole element of the way we train. It's so much gameplay. And we haven't gone over the gameplay because the Fur Baby Society says gameplay is the way to go, treat training is the way to go. It's knowing when to use discipline and when to use gameplay. The problem is out there isn't the trainers out there, even in the Gundog world, talking about discipline, when to give discipline, how to give discipline, and showing that you don't get the reactions that these snowflake people keep telling everyone. You'll destroy the partnership, you'll destroy the relationship with you and the dog. The dog will never trust you. The dog won't want to play your game. What happens is when you use gameplay, but you step up with discipline, the dog looks up to you even better. How would they know if they've never done it? That's the whole point. What are your thoughts on the video I put up with my spaniel and my lab together? Absolutely fine, Adam. Absolutely fine. It was lovely to see, Adam, that when you had that lab on his own, well, you may have had a terrier as well. I didn't see that. The dog was very independent on you and wasn't particularly dog friendly. How that dog has come out of himself with the spaniel, and how he's got better and better at socializing with other dogs, is lovely to watch. It's majestic to watch. It's a credit to you, Adam, that you've got those dogs, as a pack, working as a pack. And that was the important part. That's the part that people are missing with me in the field working the pack, aren't they? Because the earlier people who watched my videos, and most of you who saw the earlier videos that were on YouTube, they could see how important the pack was, and letting the dogs run and have fun and gameplay and socialize with each other. There wasn't a lot of fighting, and if there was, it was stopped. It was stopped because it's an unwanted behavior. And that's what we talk about, unwanted behaviors and how to stop unwanted behaviors. There's a number of trainers out there who are talking about unwanted behaviors and showing discipline in the pet world, and they get an absolute load of shite over it because the so-called rest of the dog world are saying everything can be done with affection and love. Well, you don't need an e-collar then, do you? You don't need a lead, do you? You don't need a prong collar, do you? You don't even need a clicker, do you? I said something else then, nearly. It's so important, isn't it, that as soon as you put a lead on a dog, you suppress the dog. If the dog wants to do it, why would you have to put a lead on the dog? It may work in a sterile environment, but it's not going to work in the environment out there if you've got no control over the dog and you're letting the dog have what it wants to do because you're saying the dog hasn't got the capacity to say he doesn't want to do it. I've never heard such rubbish in my life. Jaybird Gundogs. The general population seems to be catching on to the bullshit that the strictly treat trainers are selling. They are, Jaybird, because there's a certain amount of trainers out there that I promote because of their, I would say, bottle coming forward and saying it the way it is. And I also believe that you have to make a stand. You can't be bullied by these people. These people who say that everything can be done with love and affection, they are complete and utter bullies. They go after people for using discipline, and they condemn them as evil, barbaric, outdated dog trainers. Sorry, they're completely wrong. But they're selling that ideology. And that's why I put that comment up about dog trainers should be taught how to think. If I teach you something, you can then make a fair judgment whether you think it's right, whether it got results, or whether it worked. Simple as that. It's so simple, isn't it? Results. If it worked, same thing, isn't it? It would be great if there is, Michael McLaughlin says, it would be great if that is happening, that the fade has passed of force free. I don't know if it has passed because it's rammed down everybody's throat, isn't it? And there's thousands and thousands of them there peddling that everything can be done with love and affection. They're all professional dog trainers when in fact they're not. They've got a couch pooch. They never take it anywhere really, and they just want to throw food at it. That's completely up to them. I don't want to go after them sort of people. What I'm saying is those people were coming after me because society says on the internet, you don't need to train a dog with discipline, love and affection. Alexa, can you train a dog with discipline?
From neuepressemitteilungen.de. Depending on the dog breed, the four-legged friend can learn different disciplines. Dog can be trained depending on the breed and should match the dog.
Even Alexa is totally confused. It all depends on the
I'm
breed.
not sure.
Go back to bed, Alexa. She's gone back to bed. She's totally...
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
See, this is the problem. When you get into an argument with a woman, when it's a robot woman, hang on, you could get yourself in real serious trouble there, Chris. Yeah, Alexa has been listening to Zach George. Alexa, who is Zach George?
George Torlon Mane Opong Usman Weah is a Liberian politician and former professional footballer who is serving as the President of Liberia, in office since 2018. Prior to his election to the presidency, Weah served as senator from Montserrado County. He played as a striker in his prolific 18-year professional football career.
Alexa, enough, please. Enough, please. I've had enough.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
Oh, I am. He wants to stick to football. Exactly. Exactly. Do you know what? Isn't it funny how technology has gone backwards? Isn't it funny how technology... Why doesn't Alexa just come on and go, I don't know the answer? Right? Sounds like one of those confused street traders. Yeah, exactly. Right? Alexa, can you use punishment when training a dog?
Never use punishment or negative attention to train your dog. They learn best from positive reinforcement and attention.
She's been brainwashed.
Dogs perceive saying no, being pushed away, or shouting all as forms of attention and won't associate the negative connotations.
She's been brainwashed. She's been absolutely brainwashed because the problem is, the more you read, the more you study the rubbish on the internet, the more you realize that they don't know what they're talking about. I like what Michael says. You're brain dead. She is. Should we ask her? Alexa, are you really brain dead?
Sorry, I don't know that.
See, she hasn't got a clue. She's limited. She's limited because it's what's fed to her, isn't it? And it's down to the media again. It's what we're being fed. And that's what's happening on the internet. The internet is a platform. Have you seen these people lately? They're all begging on the internet. I beg every week. They're like, come on, please stay with me. Please, please, I need your money. But have you seen these? Like they're actually professionals, and they're actually asking for toys, and they're asking for this, and they're asking for that. And they're pleading poverty. And they're earning mega money. And have you seen how much TikTok are actually taking for commission? Unbelievable. 80% on it, see? 70%. They're taking 70% of the earnings. Come on, Kieran. I'm not asking that question.
Well, Adam says ask her if she wants a Papadel puppy to train, then ask her again.
Alexa, why are fire trucks red? Here we go.
Fire engines are red in the face from all the rushing around.
Did you hear that? A bit like me, look, red in the face from all the rushing around. Exactly, Michael. Who programmed Alexa? That's the whole point, because it's just influence from the media and society again. It's what the media feeds, isn't it? And that's why I come on live, I talk about it, I take the criticism, I put my head above the parapet, but I stand by what I say. I show you results by using discipline at the right time, correction, call it what you like. We all have to adhere to discipline, rules and boundaries. And why can't dogs adhere to rules and boundaries? Everything can't be rosy in the garden. I suggested e-collar training to a lady, and she said she only believed in positive only. I stopped her and said, Miss, respectfully, you don't know what you're talking about. She actually responded well and listened and took better direction. Imagine someone seriously asking Alexa for dog training tips. Yeah. Alexa, could you sit up and beg?
I don't know that.
See? They're limited, aren't they? They're limited. Alexa is limited. Here we go. Rumour in Wigan, Alexa was made by God on the 9th day. Yeah, but you can have a laugh though, can't you? You can have a laugh. And don't remember when we asked her to do a FART? That started the whole evening off unbelievable, didn't it? She didn't freaking stop, did she? This is the problem, isn't it? I've always dreamt of having 3 women in my life. I've got 2. I'm missing the fiery. What? Latino. I'm missing that fiery Latino. But then again, with my health at the moment, she might kill me. Anyway, the cherry juice is absolutely lovely. Do you know what? I have panics these days because I used to come on here with a little bit of alcohol and things used to flow far more easily. These days, cherry juice, I have to start thinking what I'm going to say before I say it. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Sometimes with the drink, you just say what you feel. It's a bit like that. It's like that program, isn't it? What was that program? Say what you see. Say what you feel. I forget what it's called now. Sue used to watch it.
Say what you see.
Say what you see. No, it wasn't called Say What You See. It's called something. Hang on, someone could help us on here. So anyway, I will get, like I say, I will get round to catchphrase. That's it, Jim Townsend. Thank Christ for that. Put some vodka in your juice, there, Steve. Yeah, exactly. Pass that. German stuff, so we could drink that, can we? On here, drink half a bottle of it and see what happens. You're a very serious man on cherry juice, same as me on the Jupiter stuff. Jupiter, yeah. Juniper, not Jupiter. Jupiter's a planet. My fault. My eyesight needs checking as well. So anyway, what I was saying, like when customers come to me and they're very novicey, I have to break them in gently. If they're showing me that they know something, I can put a little bit more pressure on them, can't I? Because each person, you have to adapt slightly different. Now, dog training is exactly the same. There's a format that you go through, but sometimes you have to change that format to suit that dog. As simple as that. So you change that format. Some dogs you've got to be firm on, really firm with them because they're really pushing boundaries and they've got that nature. That nature is bred in them, that they've got that trait. Now, I've had a litter of dogs all from the same litter. Some are hard, some are softer, some are more loving, some are not. They're all different, but they're from the same sire and dam. But it's what they throw. And you get that with brothers and sisters. Anybody with a big family will know sometimes one of them is reserved, one child's reserved, and one child is full of themselves. Sometimes they're Ike and Mike, both alike. You can never tell, can you? It's guessometry. And that's what dog breeding is. It's guessometry until you get it right. Then it's called line breeding, right? And if you get it wrong, it's called interbreeding. As simple as that. Someone asked me today, your training methods, does it work with any dog? Do you train just any dog? I'm not interested in just any dog, but of course it will work with any dog. It's because it's a simple format. There's positives and negatives. Dogs will avoid negatives and work for the positives. But dogs are clever because they learn to play you, don't they? And you've all seen it, haven't you? You've seen it on the videos. You've seen it with your own dogs, that if you give an inch, the dog will push for 2 inches. If you take your eye off the ball, the dog will push the boundaries. Now, some will push more than others. And some customers, where you see here, I tell you on the videos, this is a stubborn dog. This is a harder dog. Now, just because a dog is stubborn doesn't mean it's harder. But sometimes when you get that clash of stubbornness and hardness, I'm going for a Corleone Patterdale. Yeah, exactly. We did it with our Cairn Terrier years ago. She absolutely adored the fact of discipline at the right time. She knew the boundaries, but she loved the gameplay. And if she could join in with the spaniels of the gameplay, she didn't go, hang on, I'm a Cairn, I don't do that. She joined in and wanted to be part of the group. And it's the same when the kids were playing on the park. She wanted to join in and be part of that. It was the nurture of the beast, as we say, isn't it? How is Cole? Got me on that one, Julian. Go on. Go on, answer, help me, Julian. Help me. So any questions? We've been talking now for 30 minutes and not one question. Anybody got a question? We've got 41 people in the house and we got 10 thumbs up. I've trained all sorts of breeds the Corleone way. The secret is the gameplay. Exactly, Karen. That's exactly right. You're dead right. Rob Maisley, what do you think of working Cocker Spaniels? Are they worthwhile as a gun dog? Come on, everybody. Everybody on here, what do you think of working Cocker Spaniels? Are they worthwhile being gun dogs? Come on, then. No, I haven't worked with one of those Spaniels, Jay. Come on, Cockers, Corleone Cockers, Jim Townsend. They're great, said John Griffith. Come on, who else is going to give comment? Do working Cockers make great gun dogs? Come on. Stick to a spring assist, Jim. Oh, Jim is trying to throw a rock in between her. You should never throw stones in a greenhouse. Depends on what you wanting to do with it. There you go. Karen says they're the best. I used to not like cockers. I totally am honest about it. I never liked them going back 20 odd years. I thought they were small. I thought they were noisy. I thought they were fidgety lunatics that did so many silly traits. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, right? And then they started to improve for a reason. And they weren't improving because people started to understand how to train them. They started to improve because people were putting springers onto them. As simple as that. People started putting springer blood into cockers. Now, it's nothing new. It was done, but the purists wanted cockers to be really, really small, and a cocker had to be a cocker. I have no problem with that. If that's what you want to do, and you're talking about integrity and honesty, I'm totally with that. But certain people, and there's a very famous one who seemed to get a lot of shite over it. He's not the first and he won't be the last. They started breeding bigger cockers, and the bigger cockers were coming through the Springer Spaniels, being put to them without declaring it, because you can't have a mongrel in the kennel club. You didn't used to be able to, did you? A competition dog had to either be a cocker or a Springer, KC registered. You weren't allowed to run dogs unregistered. Now, the thing is, they started getting better. And then I started seeing some fantastic, unbelievable little cockers that still look like cockers, would like little demons, but they had the sensible traits of the Springer. And years ago, when I used to train the cockers, you could and see cockers on a regular basis, there were so many problem dogs out there. It was unbelievable. If you had 2 good ones out of 10 that you saw, that's all you saw. Now I reckon it's 6 out of 10, and the other part of it is because of not being able to train well. The person who's got them aren't training them well. I think that if you're going to judge cockers as a judge, you should have had to train cockers, because they train slightly different. They've got a different mindset. But the ones that have been put with the Springers, they've got the same mindset as the Springers. So is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? You'll have to decide yourself. Would you rather be a purist? Tell me, would you rather be a purist and have all cocker blood, or would you not mind as long as it was a cracking dog and it was Springer and cocker? You tell me. Purist, yes. Don't mind. Tell me. Or even tell me you'd never have a cocker. If you get one that's bred well, no noise, no hard mouth, they can be the best little dog. They are such little determined little devils. My cocker is my best pal, not my best dog. Exactly. Best of both worlds in the sprocker, if you ask me. Get a Labrador, says Joe Harrison. There you go. He's trying to cause a fight, isn't he? Hey, they're all the same, those Labradors, aren't they?
Olcott Mawson said, are there any boykin breeders in the UK? Because Jay Bird's in the US. There isn't, is there? Never heard of them, have you?
I've not heard of any. Sorry, it's not a line that I've dealt with. It's not a line of dogs that I've dealt with. A breed of dogs that I've dealt with. Sorry about that. I can't help you on that one.
Don't think there's any bred in the US. I've never heard of them.
Oh, I don't know, sir, because I don't know. I don't know enough about them, honestly.
No.
Golden Retriever. Honestly, you boys, honestly. There you go, then. The Americans are very protective about letting them out of the country. There you go.
Wow, what are they like then?
Tell us a little bit more, Jay. What are they? What Jay Bird? Tell me a little bit more. What are their similarities? What are they like? If interesting for people. You're dead right, Michael McLaughlin. Years ago, that's what Erlinson wrote, isn't it? He said that years ago you could register off the litter if they were small as cockers, and the other half as springers, and that's where it originated from, small springers. But I think that the cockers originally, they were bred to do a completely different job, weren't they? Going back 200, 300 years, weren't they? And they hunt tighter, without fail. They hunt tighter if you train them. Naturally, actually, but if you train them to keep tight, they really hunt a lot tighter. They're more thorough. But like I think like Karen said, they got that little mad streak in them, haven't they? And there's something. Right, okay. Jay says that Boykins don't hunt like other spaniel.
They don't hunt like spaniels at all. What are they using for then? Oh, they hunt to the figure eights and circle like a lab.
Well, perhaps Jay, you could send us a video and we'll have a look at it. We'll have a look at it. They hunt in a figure of 8, and they hunt the circles like a lab. There you go. Yeah, exactly, Michael. They were woodcock birds. Exactly, for flushing woodcock. They're completely different. Years and years ago, the championship was, you used to have to, if you sent your dog for a retrieval, it had to go over a barbed wire fence. It would be sent for a barbed wire fence. And then they did a cocker championship, and they couldn't even pull a bird over the top of the barbed wire fence. And dogs were just twisting themselves and not be able to lift the bird and get it over. They've definitely got some size on them. I'm a bit of a purist that if you're going to say it's a pure cocker, then I think you should stick to a pure cocker. But I totally understand that how poor they were at one stage. Now, when I say how poor they were at one stage, is it the fact that cockers were making far more money, and so people were just breeding for the sake of breeding? I can't tell you, because I wasn't in those circles. If you look at some of the older lines and they did well with them, but there was not them people running cockers in them days when I was around, and 20, 30 years before me, there wasn't that many people running cockers in competition. Cockers would become very, very popular in the last 25 years, 20 years, really. I mean, 15 years, they've gone mad, haven't they? Everyone seems to want, but I've seen far more problem cockers than I do with problem springers over the years. Because are they really a house dog? Well, they make good house dogs, but at the end of the day, they got that little spirit, that little bit of naughtiness, that little bit of going, haven't they? That they've got that. If you haven't got a sense of humor, there ain't no point in buying a cocker. I think that's the best bit of advice I've ever had about cockers. If you haven't got a sense of humor, don't bother getting a cocker. Simple as that. Corleone Gundogs, recommend me a book or author on training the Springer. Keith Erlinson. If you want some in-depth understanding about the psychology behind gun dog training, Wilson Stevens, Gun Dog Sense and Sensibility. If you want something simple, how to train a gun dog, Moxton. Is it actually a thing, Adam? Or
what that was, Jim
just made up?
Townsend said, Chris, have you dealt much with cocker rage? Adam said, somebody asked me about cocker rage the other day. Jim came back saying, is it actually a thing, Adam, or just made up nonsense? And Adam said, Jim, I don't know, mate.
Cocker rage is a thing, definitely. It's a genetic problem, and you've got to be very, very careful. But unfortunately, some bad behaved cockers get put into that category of cocker rage when technically it's a behavioral issue. And what it is you can have a dog that's absolutely normal, and all of a sudden it will just, say it's asleep on the side and someone nudges it, it can wake up and become an absolute like devil dog, and it can be snarling, biting, frothing at the mouth, and they're having a fit. They're having a fit, and it's a known fact. But the thing is, so many people put it into that. People put it into that category of so many of them have got it. It's just, it's not a. I've read a number of reports on it from vets and that, and it is concerning if you've got it in the genetics of a dog, and it needs to be looked at properly. And I think a vet can actually do a test for it. I think they've worked out that the gene that it carries. Karen says, I may have committed crimes, I'm still not sure. She'll end up referring it to Danny Wells. This thing's eyes just changed, and it was like a demon, and just flicked a switch. I've seen two in all the years that I've had training with them, and they are. It's scary to watch if you haven't dealt with dogs before, and for someone who's got this loving cocker that's suddenly turned, it's like, is it because the dog's become dominant? No, it's not. It's a genetic trait in the head that a malfunction happens, and the dog, when it snaps out of it, doesn't seem to even know it did it. It's like a fit. I reckon that thing I rescued had it. It was just like what you explained. Jaybird's going on about his Boykins, and are really quiet and are quite temperamental, and usually require someone that knows what they're doing. Somewhat hunts like a lab, harder to figure out, like a cocker maybe. There you go. I'm intrigued now. I need to see one.
Yeah.
I need to see one. Is it aggression? It's definitely aggression when it happens, but whether the dog knows what it's doing, I don't think it does. I think the dog. Michael says, Karen, can you train that out, or is it a visit to the vet, as it's a dangerous dog? I think it's a dangerous dog. As simple as that. Once they get that, they don't even know they're doing it. That's the problem. And it's like if you were having a fit on the floor and you were lashing out, how do you know what you were doing until you come round? And the dog, when it actually happens, and then the dog comes out of it, it's like the dog hasn't got a clue what happened. And the dog can be loving one moment and then bang, just turn for the slightest thing. It's a horrible thing to see. But like I say, you get some people say it's behavior issues. It's cocker rage, when technically it's not. It's behavior issues. Yep, it's like a switch on and off, and recreation of it. Yeah, exactly. And is that because of interbreeding? I can't tell you. I can't tell you whether that's interbreeding, because at the end of the day, if you're line breeding, you know the traits, and you should technically line breed with the quality traits that you want. Not go too close because you don't want interbreeding. But at the end of the day, if you start going out and putting any old dog on any old dog and thinking, will this make a gun dog? What genetics are you getting? Which side of the genetics, or is there a confusion of the genetics? A conflict. My spaniel has ADHD. I think Adam's got ADHD sometimes. Mind, I explained to the owner it could be a condition called cocker rage, but it's not out of my skill set to say yes, and it's or no, it isn't. Passed it to Danny Wells. I don't think there was ever any contact. Yeah, I mean the problem is in a family situation. Once you've seen the dog go like I've seen them go on that cocker rage, you'd never trust that dog again with your children. If you did, you're a fool. Because what come first, your kids or your dog? It's as simple as that. Now, you can send me the answers on a postcard in case you upset anybody. in case any children want to leave home. Still plays on my mind to this day. The good thing is, Karen, you didn't pretend that you could solve it. You passed it on and said, it's not my area. It's too much for me at this point. And I think that was really good. At the end of the day, if you don't know what you're doing, be careful. Be careful. Don't have kids, so dog 100%. Jim Townsend, there you go. Let it eat the missus instead. So there you go. So Michael says, good man, Karen. Better have a man that knows what he does than a man that knows fuck all. There you go. You did the right thing, Karen, says Graham Allison. Yeah, exactly. And that's the nice thing about the group, isn't it? If you're struggling with something, there's somebody else in the group you can reach out to who's got success. They've showed their dog, they've gained success. Anybody who goes to help someone and finds that they're in a situation where they're struggling, they can contact me, can't they? I can tell you, if you sent me the video of the dog in that rage, how it suddenly happened and you caught it, and then when it finished, then I could tell you straight away whether you're talking about a dangerous dog or a naughty dog. And that's the whole point, isn't it? It's the whole point about anybody can say, this is the way to train a dog, this is what you must do, this is this. The idea is for me to put it into your head of how to read a situation, how to train that dog, because of your knowledge and your understanding, not because you're just copying, because you can read a dog, and that's the important thing. That's the important thing. I think it's wonderful that there's people in the group all around the country can reach out and help other people. I don't look at it as, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, you should be sending me business. No, each individual, if you can help other people and you can earn a little bit of money because of the skill set that you've put the time and effort in to learn how to train a dog, and you can help other people, it's a free world, isn't it? You can do what you want. And at the end of the day, there's no jealousy here about that. I'm all for everybody helping everybody, as long as they are not trying to feed bullshit. There's too much bullshit out there in this dog training world where people are mis-selling the ideology. And that's it, Steve. And it's not the Corleone World Wide Web. It would be lovely if people said, listen, you might not agree with the guy, but he'll give it you straight. If you don't like what you see, don't go there. Carry on doing what you're doing. But you've got to ask the question, why are you getting the problems with the dog when you're showing love and affection and the dog is taking over? The dog is taking over for a reason. It sees you as a weaker link. The pack leader controls, but the pack leader doesn't need to be a bully, does it? That's the big thing about dog training. You don't need to be a bully. I don't get a kick from having a go at someone when they come here with their dog. I try and tell a story. The amount of editing that I have to do because I'm trying to tell a story. I don't want to bore people with hours and hours of footage that isn't telling a story, isn't showing a result, how to get the result. Now, sometimes I've got to show where the dog's going wrong or the handler's going wrong to be able to put it right and show people how to get it right. And that's the wonderful thing about the people who come into the group, who come here for training and go, please, Chris, I've learned from other people's videos. You can share my videos. There's a lot of trust involved there, isn't there? Because I say things off the top of my head as a joke sometimes, and I think, I shouldn't perhaps said that. I'll edit that bit. And so they know when they come here, we'll have a bit of a laugh, we'll have a bit of a banter, as well as learning, and sometimes a bit silly. But they know that when I put up the videos, it's about education. It's about education. We will all have to give you a title of Grand Thin Wizard. Stop it. The Corleone cult of no bullshit dog training. There's nothing better than if you've had a hard day coming home and having a beverage, is there, and relaxing. Nothing better. It's drinking in moderation that matters, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, you've never seen me pissed out my head on a live feed, have you? Never. I know you haven't, because I just don't get pissed out of my head. Merlin. Yeah. Listen, Merlin weren't that clever, was he? Have you seen that about Camelot Castle, everyone? Me and Sue go there quite regularly. We love Camelot Castle down in Tintagel. They now want to bring refugees across. They come in their dinghies. Now, some of those rooms in Tintagel Castle are £300 a night. I've never paid £300 a night. I'm a special guest, right? That's Merlin's place. Yeah, that's it, Adam. Merlin's place, right? And I've been there and had the top rooms at a really reasonable price because we go there regularly. They're really nice. They are. John and his setup is really nice. We love it. We do. And the Victorians used to go there years and years ago because it used to overlook. You can see the sea from every angle, and we love it because it's just slightly out of the town. Unless you know it, you wouldn't really go there unless you've seen it advertised. Now, all of a sudden, the refugees are offering. The government have offered to rent every room off them all year long for refugees that come off the boats and they've got nowhere to put them. Why would they want to go home if you're going to put them up in a hotel of that standard? The world's gone freaking mad. Absolutely mad. Imagine all of a sudden around Tintagel was hundreds of refugees walking around with begging bowls, living in Tintagel Castle. Camelot. Unbelievable. Imagine them all round the round table. I'm telling you, the world's gone freaking mad. The world's gone mad. Hey, a King Arthur would be turning in his bloody grave, wouldn't he? Hey, refugee hotel.
I think I'd get a boat myself and pretend I'm not remember.
She wants to pretend that she's come in off the freaking sea in a dinghy, so she can stay at Tintagel Castle with 67,000 refugees. Honestly, she doesn't know what it would be like living with 67,000 refugees. Oh, dog question. Steve Pace, King Arthur wouldn't have had it, full stop. He would have to go and have a word with Merlin, wouldn't he? Do a bit of magic. Hey? There'll be a few shipwrecks. Have you ever kept a dog inside? Yes, I have, Joe. I have kept a dog inside. I've let him out on the odd occasion. Edward III, brother, bought and built Tintagel Castle. Michael McLaughlin. I never knew that. Edward III, brother, bought and built Tintagel Castle. I never knew that. You're a bloody world of information. Sue says you're like Kerry. No, not Kerry. What's her name?
Don't mention her.
Don't mention her. Siri. What's her name? Alexa. Who built Tintagel Castle?
I'm made by Amazon.
Oh God, she's off again. Who built? What's her name again? Alexa. Who built Tintagel Castle?
Here's something I found on the web. According to historicengland.org.uk, Richard of Cornwall built Tintagel Castle in the 13th century.
Richard of Cornwall, not Edward III. Richard of Cornwall.
Michael read the wrong book.
Yeah, read the wrong book. In the US, it's popular to teach a pointing dog, whoa, yep, while the dog is pointing a bird. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah, no problem at all. Whoa. No problem at all. Jaybird, if you could give us, Richard of Cornwall was Edward's brother. King Chris of Cornwall. Yeah, I love City. I love the hotel. Really enjoyed the hotel. It's glamorous, but it's old. It's dated, but it's you can sit. Well, I used to be able to sit in the bar and have a nice gin and tonic and thoroughly relax and forget all about dogs. And then I was only an hour away from home when he come home, and we thoroughly enjoyed it, didn't we? Having a break there on a regular basis, didn't we? So quite regular basis. We spent We spent Christmas there as well. You've seen the thing.
Coastline, isn't it? That rugged.
That rugged coastline, and it's like me when coming out of the bath, you know, with a robe on, and Sue saying, "It's King Arthur, he's here," and looking at me and saying, "Oh, you're so rugged," and I didn't realise she was looking out the window at the sea. But never mind. Anyway, we talked enough.
But he refused anyway, didn't
Who refused?
he? John did, the owner.
Yeah, he did. He refused. It's actually Nigel Farage. Farage interviewed him, and there's about half an hour conversation with it. Nigel jumped on it about Jesus Christ. They're giving them the top hotels. They got top hotels in the country, these refugees, because they've got nowhere else to put them. Imagine what it's costing the government. Imagine what it's costing this country. No wonder we're in such trouble. Yeah, Chris, rugged coastline. Yeah. The other side of the argument says don't teach a pointing dog whoa because birds run. Jay, honestly, why don't you want a dog? Why don't you want a dog whoaing? Jay, let me just say to you, I have searched the internet time and time again looking for good pointing videos of how to train pointers to a very high standard. The majority of videos that I see of pointers is when they go to point and the bird gets up, the dog is after the bird as the gunshot's going across the top of the dog's head. Right? At the end of the day, I've never seen such craziness in my life. I've seen turkey shooting as well. It's not my cup of tea. Now, I do enjoy watching a good pointer go to point, but I've never been that impressed with the guns that I've seen in America running after birds or firing as the dog is leaping in the air. Not having a go at my friends across the pond. I'm just saying, if you can put me onto some good pointer trainers who train to a really good standard, I'd love to watch them and learn from them, because in this country, I don't think they're learning very much at all. The majority of pointers in this country, Jay, are noisy, yappy, unsteady, and I'm not that impressed with them. But I've looked across the pond for how good they are. Now, the thing is, in America, one of the things in America, I love their confidence. I love their confidence. And if you showed Tintagel Castle to an American, he'd say, "That's not a castle. This is a castle." And it would be in America. Everything I've ever seen in America is flat. And it's a shopping center. But perhaps I haven't been to the right places in America. But I can't believe how in so many places in America, you go into a mall, whatever they call it, and they've got exactly the same shops. We are going exactly the same direction with hotels, shops, and the way people think. They want. We went to Exeter the other day, and we were looking to buy a breakfast in Exeter. I am tight, right? I am tight. And when I say breakfast, because I'm allowed to eat breakfast. Breakfast is good for me. It's one of the things I can have: sausage, bacon, egg, beans, tomatoes, mushrooms as a one meal. I'm enjoying it at the moment. It's like heaven. We went to Exeter, and every breakfast place we went into, it's now £10 plus for a breakfast. £10 plus. It's all gone up because of the price of everything in this country. When I went to America, I couldn't believe the size of the food. I'm a big lad, but I couldn't eat it because it was shit quality. Now, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I would rather have quality than quantity, unless it was red wine.
Some of it was yuppie food, wasn't it?
It was what?
Yuppie foods, wasn't it, really?
Yuppie.
Yeah, you know, their avocado on toast and egg benedict.
Oh, she's not talking about America, is she? We were talking about America. Now she's going yuppie food, and now we're talking about. She's gone back to breakfast. Oh, David Jones said, I witnessed field trial champion pointer working on a shoot. Not very high. Oh, sorry, not very high standard. I thought I was going to get excited then.
Well, Michael, what above?
Michael says, I'll shoot last week with a friend of mine, wire pointer. What a super dog. Lovely. And I would like to see more of it. I'd like to see more of it. So what I wasn't having a go, I'm not being nasty about it, but everything in America is big, isn't it? Everything is bigger. Bigger the better. Right? Bigger the better. The longer the dog runs, the better it is. But I do understand the American system of planting birds. Or you go to a game farm that they've got planted birds on the game farm that you can shoot them. But do you really want to shoot a bird on the floor 10 feet away from you? No, that's not really dog training for me. So I'm always looking. And there is some good dog trainers in America, don't get me wrong. But it's like trying to sift through all the stuff on the internet again, isn't it? For show me some quality. Show me some quality. And I'm all for it. I love watching dogs of all sorts. And I love watching pointers. I love watching pointers do it properly. So anyway, on that note, thank you so much for coming in and joining the club and having a bit of a chit chat, and I hope I haven't offended anybody too much. And like I said, if somebody asks me a question and I don't know the answer, I have to say I don't know the answer, because I would hate to be caught out being a Billy bullshitter. It's as simple as that. I would hate to be caught out being a Billy bullshitter. I'm a gun dog trainer. I get results. I show people how to train dogs. My life has changed since COVID. My life has changed since they took all my videos off the internet because I was taking up too much space on the internet. They called it copyright. No, it wasn't. It was because I was giving it for free. Thanks, Chris, and brothers and sisters over the sea and crumpets country. Cheers, Jay. Adam, thumbs down. What do you want about? Thumbs down. Bollocks to you all. Bollocks, Merlin. Bollocks. On that note, I'm going off to Tintagel Castle to see if we can find a refugee, because obviously they're getting more than I'm getting. Good night, all. I've obviously upset some freaking refugees.